All right, welcome back to Beach Chair Chats. My name is Brian here on a beautiful Monday here in Connecticut. It's too nice to be inside, but yet here we are. I have a great guest today who'd prefer to be outside as well. I'm sure she will be at some point today. Ann Roselle, how are you today, Ann?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Again, it's Monday. Can Monday be? And I'm taking it in stride. But so you sent me some. Speaking of the beach, you're just there recently, right? So you sent me some beautiful beach photos. Talk a little
I
about
did.
those.
It was a mismatch of like my favorite beach photos from the last year, like a couple from this weekend, a couple from Mother's Day at Silver Sands, and then one, no, two from Wells Beach in Maine a couple years ago.
Nice. I've never been to Wells Beach. Never.
Oh, it's nice there.
Is it worth it? I've been to Silver Sands once. I think that I used to work in Bridgeport. I pivoted there one day and I stopped there. I've never gone there before just because it's not in my where I live. But yeah, it's a nice, not a bad little place right there. But yeah, so let me ask you this much. So if you're not the beach today, but in your work life, when you're not enjoying the sunshine and all the wonderful things that come with the ocean, you do some pretty significant work, right? With psychiatric work and addiction and mental health.
Yes. Um, yeah, it definitely can feel significant some days. I work as a psychiatric nurse practitioner for a community mental health, focusing on addiction medicine and then teaching the next generation of future psychiatric nurse practitioners
Well, it's
and
well,
my
it,
little private practice on the side. So,
well, you gotta have the product. You always gotta have. Well, if you're in anything related to education, there's always something on the side of a side hustle. Because if we're not working, hedge funders here in Greenwich, we are in education, so we have to do other things besides our one job. So that's my never-ending job. I do things on the side. But with psychiatric work with addiction, what's when you think about the heaviness of it, like what are some of the struggles you see commonly that people come to you with, or that you're even training future practitioners in the work that you do?
oh gosh, things that people commonly come with. I think if I had to sum it up succinctly, it's this deep sense of loss of the things that the addiction has either stripped them of or they're really afraid it's going to strip them of if they don't stop
Hmm.
and wanting to get off that train.
It's tough to break. An addiction can be anything, right? I work with students in my day job. It's not always substance addiction. People think it's substances like drugs and alcohol, but it can be anything that like you said, replaces that void. A lot of my students are gaming addicts. Well, I call them addicts. That's like a strong term. I can't diagnose it, but they do clearly have a problem. But it is that. And how do you help break people from that, get them out of that, to help them find those tools to get back on track?
To say it's one day at a time is so trite, but it's really one day at a time. And when I'm admitting someone to treatment, I tell them, right out of the gate, like relapses are going to happen. There's going to be slip ups. The most important thing to me is that you show back up here the next day
Mm-hmm.
and just, let them know I'm never going to yell, stamp my feet, get cross. I'm just going to be relieved that they kept coming back.
Yeah. And that's true. I think with anything, because it's you just can't cold turkey it. The minute people try to cold turkey an addiction, they relapse, like I said, and it comes back stronger, right? And so when the patients do come back, you know, what's the success look like when they achieve that? What do you see from them when they actually get to the point where they're, healthy again?
It's so variable, person to person, just because the circumstances surrounding addiction are so different person to person. But for some, it's them sharing like a parenting success that they had. For others, it's just building up that first month abstinent from substances and then building up a second month and them sharing their success and how proud they are of the time that they're able to build. And when they look at you and are like, I've never been abstinent this long from a substance.
Mm-hmm.
It's wonderful to see. And it's as far as, you know, logging into a patient session and have them tell me like they closed on their first house. Like
Hmm.
there's all different markers for people and they're all equally magical.
It's true because a lot of times people when they struggle, they feel like there's probably no hope, right? They
Mhm.
can't break it. They'll never get there. But
Mhm.
just to see that, right? To have someone say they got their own house, they're making these milestones that are huge achievements. But for you in the doing the work, how do you feel in response? I mean, what does that make you feel like when you see this success?
I'm just like bursting with pride for them and that I got a front row seat to see them grow. They're the ones who do all the work. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just the cheerleader on the side, kind of helping steer the path with the medications. But, it's really just this enormous sense of pride, like, yeah, they did that.
Yeah.
And I got to see it.
And that's a great thing, right? It's just even no matter what you do, whether it be in that work or even in the world of education, like you said, you know this when you see someone come in your door, have no idea what they're doing, whether they're trying to get themselves back on track or healthy or just figure out life, right? We have the luxury of being on that sideline to kind of cheer them on, kind of steer them in that right direction so they hit those goals. Now, when you do that cheering and they start to make that, but all of a sudden they pivot and they go a different direction, how do you get them back on track?
Oh, that's a good question, and I'm not really sure I have a good answer for that. One of the ways in which I try to avoid burnout in this field is I can't work harder than my
Hmm.
patients.
Yes.
So if they're not showing up for a period of time, I just got to cross my fingers and hope one day they walk back in that door. And when they do, it's just, greeting them with a hug and saying, I'm so glad you came back to us today.
And well, you hit on a very important point there, burnout, right? Working harder than the patient or a student or even a child if you're a mom as well, if you're working harder than your kids or working harder than anybody else, it's like you ask yourself the question, why am I doing this, right? So how do you protect yourself from burnout in your line of work? She's
Well,
like, the laugh is like, I am burned out, are you crazy?
yeah, I'm still figuring that one out. It's a lot of like reading and beach time and,
Hmm.
you know, like every Sunday I go to the beach with a colleague and we discovered like it stopped our Sunday scaries like
Hmm.
cold. We set ourselves up into a great place for the week mentally. And so just doing things like that. Um, I got back into cross stitching this year.
There you
So just
go.
sitting there with a needle and thread. It sounds so like coastal grandma, but it relaxes me.
And that's all you need because if you're not relaxed in this line of work, like I said, it will consume you. It will you'll be needing more Sunday scaries or be needing your own therapy extensively.
Well, alternative Sunday scaries, Monday scaries, Tuesday scaries.
Every day scary. Anything that ends with a Y scaries. Now, did you see yourself always doing this line of work? Like, is this something you like when you were a young person and going to college the first time? Like, this is really, really want to do. Is this always been a path for you?
Um, I mean, there was a point in like I think middle school and high school where I was like, I'm gonna be the next Madonna and
Okay.
like wanting to be like a big pop star. And yeah, when
Do
I
you have
quit
some,
chorus.
do you have
When
some,
I
can you belt out the tunes? Do you have the voice?
no, nobody
No.
wants to hear me sing.
Oh, come on. I could put this on.
Nobody.
This was at the actual beach. You'd be, singing away.
No, if it's
No.
my car, I'd be singing away. But no. So when I quit chorus in high school, I think after junior year, I was like, this isn't really going to work. But the person at that time who really I valued their opinion highly was our school nurse
Hmm.
and just the way she related to all the students. And it didn't matter like what clique you were in or, what was going on. Just that was where students gravitated to and they felt comfortable and they felt safe. And I really loved that. So I decided nursing would be a good path. And I went to school thinking I was going to come out and I was going to be a school nurse.
Right.
That I did a ER rotation and ended up really loving, you know, inpatient medicine and wanting to pivot into the critical care aspect of care.
And school nurses, I always look at school nurses nowadays. It's one of those jobs. I don't know if it'd be glamorous to be a school nurse or like the school psychologist or the school counselor. It's one of those challenges that they deal with the younger generation. Now, let me ask you this question. Working in the field you do you see more younger people coming to you for needing for help? I mean, because has there always been like an age range where you see this is the most common group of people that struggle with this? Do you see younger people coming forward now too? Like I have a problem or
Um, so I don't see anyone under the age of 18. Like I do not do pediatrics, and that was a traumatic pediatric rotation back in undergrad. So, but yeah, we see a good amount of, people like in their early 20s who step forward and are like, this isn't how I want my life to be and turn out and show up.
hmm okay. Well, yeah, you just take that first step, right? To get the help you need when you're young. And it's good to recognize it too before it gets to be too late because again, it can be a long standing thing that people deal with for a long period of time. So it's good they recognize that early and get the help they can. So let me pivot a little bit. Here's your career, the work you do, but the most important job to you is what? Outside of this, I'm a lean towards the mom thing. Is that one of the most important work that you do, or do you feel like they're good, they got it, or do you see that?
It's definitely important work, but I don't necessarily, I don't know. My kids would probably say like, yeah, we were never the most important. Which is a little sad, but probably accurate. When they were
Mm-hmm.
young, I did my doctorate, and so
Mm-hmm.
mom was like this phantom figure that would like come through every once in a while. And
Yeah.
uh, I had my own struggles with mental health, and so that definitely took me away from them. And
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't the mom I had hoped I would be when I started out having kids. I think now that they're teenagers, we're starting to like come back together more, and like
That's
I
good.
volunteer at school more, and I'm seeing my oldest in the couple days since graduation just be a little bit more like, Mom, I'd really like to do this with you. And
Okay. And
I'm
how does that
hoping that
make you feel? That probably makes you feel pretty good, because like you said, you could probably carry that, like, the feeling of like I wasn't there, I was doing this. But there's every day, like I said, one day at a time, right? And here we are when having those moments. Obviously, your son just graduated high school, so it was a huge achievement for him. I know that was a big deal for you to get all prepared for that, right? And
oh, for sure. Yeah. So like that's a theme that I hope like continues over the summer. The mom, I want to spend time with you. I mean, not that I'm counting, but I'm moving him in what, 65 days?
mhm,
Um, and I'm feeling like I want as much time this summer as I can, not just with him, but like all the kids and all the kids together
yeah, well,
as
yeah, it's
one is
important.
preparing to launch from the nest.
Oh yeah, well, get them to the beach. 'Cause, I mean, it's a great place for families to go. I mean, you have some great photos here too of your kids as well. So I know that's important to you and seeing that and making it happen.
I mean, they have a standing invitation for every Sunday when I go, but they all collectively agree that their beach vacation I subjected them to in Wells was like the worst vacation they ever went on. They're more like city kids and they want to be like doing their entire
Mhm.
vacation. Can we just slow down?
I find I've interviewed lots of people on this podcast. Surprisingly, so far I have, and that's one of the themes. We get older, or as I like to say, we turn the calendar days forward. I like to say we're not aging or getting older because we hate those words when we get older, right? But it's the crazy thing is when we're so young, we want to be busy, right? We just want to do all the things. We don't want to, or they call it FOMO, right? I learned these acronyms several years later, It's like, oh, that's old. It's not even an acronym anymore. It's like, but it's not. But you don't want to miss out on something, right? And so when you're young, it makes sense. You go to the city, but as we in our years now, the city's the last place I would rather be, overwhelmed, overstimulated, and just yeah,
Yes, all of that. I couldn't agree with you more. Whereas they're like, let's go to New York. Let's go back to DC. Let's go to
not
Boston.
DC. Forget
We've
DC.
gone
Ugh.
to Philadelphia in a few years. Let's go to Philadelphia. It's like, oh gosh. No concrete jungle, please.
Yeah, I mean but the cities have a lot. I mean, I'll forget DC right now because I won't go down that rabbit hole. But DC, mm. But
That was where my oldest wanted to take his like post graduation trip, and yeah, he was like, we're not doing that this year."
no, not DC. DC's. Sorry, exhale for sadness about the district of yeah. Anyways, I'll keep moving on. But but the cities are wonderful and they have a lot of culture, a lot of things to do. And I think when you're young, you want to do all the things. And but it's important. So as you've gravitated towards these parts of your life, right, to slow things down, what do you do with your besides you do some of the things you have been doing, other hobbies you do. What are some other things you're looking forward to do this summer?
I just joined my library's reading challenge. They're doing
All
a
right.
reading challenge that adults are allowed to do too, and
Oh,
have raffle entries for a prize every book they read. So I I want to have the most raffle entries.
you should. Do you remember? Is this a thing? Maybe it was where I grew up. They used to call it Book It Club. It's through Pizza Hut. This is maybe in the Midwest. I mean, I grew up in the Midwest. Do you know what I'm talking
I
about?
remember that. Yes,
You get
where
the
you
pan
had to
pizza.
read
You
your
read a book.
personal pan pizza.
Hell yeah, bring back Book It. That was. I mean, you get the free book. You get the free personal pan pizza. It was a thing. And so I wasn't sure if that was a New England thing, but it definitely was a Midwest thing. So apparently it was a universal thing. But Pizza Hut to get people to read. They should do
Mhm.
that again. Get kids to read books. So what are you reading right now?
Right now, I'm currently reading this book called The Burning Side by Sarah DeMoff, if I'm saying
Okay.
her name correctly. And it's this great family story, and it's centered around this couple. Their house burns down. The wife realizes it's her fault that she let the stove burner on
Mm-hmm.
because her husband just asked her for a divorce. And they have to go to her parents to stay while the house gets sorted out. And he decides to proceed with the divorce. She's upset about it, but each chapter is told from a different family member's perspective, and it keeps going back, and forth
Mm-hmm.
between her, the husband, and her mom are the three main voices. And bits of the past and the story unfold as to what everyone's coping with and all the different viewpoints. And you see like where he went wrong, where she went wrong, because he's just like, I was innocent in all this. And I don't want to give away spoilers in case someone wants to read it.
I will just
But
I have a few downloaders on this episode, but not too many, so you're safe probably.
but it's really, about how every story or every experience or every, relationship, and I'm sure you see this in your line of work, there's always varying perspectives. And like two
Mm-hmm.
people can go through a relationship and a life together and have completely different experiences, even if they're walking the same path.
Mm-hmm.
And and that's really what I'm seeing come out in this book. And it's so enjoyable. I can't put it down.
Well, it's true because any relationship or, be a friendship or a family, or I always say this to people, we live in a very lonely, not a lonely world, but we're alone in theory, right? And we figure these things out. We experience the things that we experience. And if you're in a relationship or in a marriage or whatever it is, you have another person, right? That's also there and they see things differently. And trying to find that commonality is hard because no matter what's going to be, you're going to be uniquely different. And so sometimes when things fall apart or this happens, people don't see that perspective because we live in that isolated, not isolated again, individualistic world that we see things or we change, right? Or things develop or new things happen that also change how you look at things. So it is unique when you see about the idea of relationships and people within them. It's not lonely, but sometimes it can be lonely depending on the nature of the relationship too as well. So it sounds like this is a great book. So it's not some like trashy, smutty, beach read, page turn. None of those are on the thing, or just so.
Mean, there's room for them to be in this summer reading. I tend not to stick to a particular genre. I'm just like,
This,
sounds interesting. I'll read it.
yeah, they have page turners. You gotta change it up a little bit, so it's not the same stuff. I would find as I was starting to read books, I'm like, wow, I'm reading a lot of stuff about dopamine, a lot of stuff about addiction, a lot of stuff about. I need to change it up and actually have some fiction in my life because I don't want to keep reading what I do for work on my leisure time. So,
And I went through a period where I did that, and it was the same thing. I was like, no, I got to go back to fiction and
mhm.
have those lighthearted reads.
It just taps into a different part of your mind when you read that. Just because, I guess, if you read the stuff that you do, it's just you just become very one track, and that's all you're thinking about. And even though I make the Sunday Scaries even worse because you're reading this book outside of work that triggers the same Sunday Scary, so it's important to go back to the fiction of just lightheartedness and relaxation of that. So, but you know, I do know this about you. You do have an addiction.
Diet Coke.
I know. So you already got it. Do you have a Diet Coke nearby? There it is.
I sure
It's-
do.
you know, because some people can say, well, this addiction's not bad, right? And I have an exercise addiction. I have a running addiction. That's not bad, right? Do you ever find that people justify their addictions? Like it's not a bad one. Do you ever see that? Diet Coke's not a bad, I'm not saying it's
I
an
mean,
addiction.
yeah, there's me with the caffeine and the Diet Coke. I mean,
Mm.
I start my day at like 5 o'clock in the morning with a can,
Hmm.
and I'm usually like too deep by the time I start seeing a patient. So, um, and my coworkers know I carry a little cooler with me to work. Like they'll
Okay.
come in and be like, "Hey, you have a can?" So, do I justify it? Absolutely. I think it's a way of like self-medicating attention
Hmm.
issues. But yeah, I see patients, try and justify things all the time, like shopping or,
Hmm.
cannabis now that is legal and, all sorts of things.
Hmm. Yeah, it's just the newest thing, right? It's another thing to replace something else. Like any addiction is like designed to replace like Diet Coke, very minimal. Okay. So, but yeah, cannabis, just all these things, right? That are out there. There's so many. Do you feel like there's in the world we live in, there's so many potential things that people can be addicted to nowadays than it was maybe 20, 30 years ago? Because of access?
I think, yeah, the potential due to access when you think about it. But
Like
again, it's down to
gambling is one.
gambling is definitely a problem for people, for, some people. But it's just, it all comes down to, what is it? How much time, money, energy are you expending towards procuring an item, trying to find an experience, and how much havoc is it, wreaking on your life?
Hmm. Well, I showed my son this once because he's like, dude, I want to go to the casino. It sounds fun. And so I took him there once and I said, I put a 20 bucks in the slot machine. And within less than 5 minutes, 20 bucks was gone. I go, see, that's what it is. And I go, and I had to warn him. I go, you don't want to get into these habits because this is what happens when you think you're going to like win or you're going to do something. You actually have a chance to hit the big jackpot, right? It goes fast and it's gone. And I go, you have to be conscious that, like I said, cost of money. People spend a lot on their addictions, right? They might gamble, they might bet on sports, they might drugs and alcohol, pornography. Who knows? They spend money on whatever it is. It takes them away from just the reality of that, and they go down the rabbit hole. They should get addicted to the beach. I mean, that's where it should be. Sunshine in the beach should be a great place to be addicted to that.
There probably are people who are addicted to the sunshine and the beach and have skin like leather and
It reminds me, when I was in the vineyard once. It's an interesting story. Have you ever been to Martha's Vineyard?
I've not.
You have not. Okay. Fun story, interesting story. There is a nude beach, okay, in Martha's Vineyard. It's on Moship on the outside. Actually, not Menimsha, sorry. And if you go to the beach, you walk down, there's like a set of rocks, right? And once you go past the rocks, there's no sign that says people, this is going to happen. And I remember seeing this woman, it was a family, it's kind of gross actually. But I didn't care because it's like, whatever, people do what they want to do, be free, be liberal, whatever it is. But it was a mom and she was so like leathery tan and like fully naked. And it reminded me like, the scene from The Shining when the woman that comes out of the, do you ever see The Shining, the movie?
A couple times. It's
There's
been a
a
few years.
scene where this like evil like woman who comes out of this bathtub and she's just like scary. Yeah.
Yes.
And it made me think like, oh my gosh, she's just like leather. It's just like Okay, things you can't unsee, but I don't know what that random story was, but there is a beach in the vineyard. So if you ever go there, you're walking down and like, oh yeah, there it is. So, it's not the same beach now. But yeah, people are addicted to the sun. People are addicted to, that's what skin cancer comes in. The idea to be tan, we all like it. It all feels good, but it can be a problem too as well. So, what's on the agenda for today after you're done with this wonderful interview? Because are you working today? Are you work? I know you were off for a period of
I'm
time.
on vacation from my primary job. I mean, I have some grading to do.
Grading,
It's
grading.
a summer session class, and one of my kids is doing some summer theater,
Nice.
um, doing the tech side. So he's got his first meeting he has to go to tonight. I gotta get him to. So some running around.
Did you ever do theater yourself?
When I was like little,
Little.
like I did church, like musicals, and then I got a role in a play in like seventh grade.
Mm-hmm.
And it was around that time that I started realizing that theater is largely like favoritism.
I could see that. Yeah, of like the roles and stuff that people would get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's like it just feels like it's always like the same five kids who get all the roles. I mean, I'm very deeply entrenched in my kids' high school theater program, like in the booster
Mm-hmm.
organization, and the kids are tremendously talented. So it's
Yeah.
nothing on the kids, but so my experience growing up was I was like, well, Susie's gonna get the part, so like why even
Yeah.
try?
Yeah. Why bother? It's like sports. The same thing happened in sports. There's always like in the teams that played in high school, like you had like these five guys hanging in the coach's lock in his office. I'm like, they're all starting, they're all playing. They're terrible, but they do enough, sorry, ass kissing to get the part, and they get a play, and it's whatever it was. I actually got kicked out of practice once in high school. It was a fun time. It was a transcendent experience, but I did theater myself as well. It was also through a church, but it was much older. We actually would take this sanctuary. This is Midwestern churches, right? It's not New England churches. They're different out there. And so these big spaces where they built a full stage and full lighting and full everything and raised money for a charity. So I had like three shows that I did for musical theater. So it was a fun time. But you know, but they're
I
right.
mean,
The favoritism
it's
is
a great time. Theater
huh?
kids are some of the best kids. The theater parents are some of the best parents I
Uh,
know.
mm-hmm.
I mean, our high school teacher just does a fantastic job of nurturing kindness out of these kids, and you
Mm-hmm.
see it, like the way they interact with the world.
I just think they're
It's a
very
great,
smart. I always think acting and theater people are very smart people. You have to be. You just have to be creative, and you're always in it, right? And I think they're very intelligent people.
I would
So
agree.
speaking of other addictions, you just ran a 5K this past weekend.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I
Uh,
participated in a
You
5K.
partic That's what they all say when they start.
Um, yeah, no, I walked it.
It's
My
okay.
goal was to show up for my town's event and have fun, and that's exactly what I did.
Now here I thought it might be the start of a future, like you get the bug.
You never know, but I've had a lifelong like love-hate relationship with running. I love the idea of it. I
Hmm.
hate actually doing it,
That was me this
but
morning. I had a tough time. I mean, I had a tweak in the knee. It's like, okay, this must be serious. But it probably wasn't. I could have easily gone outside, but talked myself out of it. But yeah, it could be an addictive thing. Running's an addictive thing too. I will say this. I've been running. Well, I'm retired. I'll put it this way. Ran marathons for like I don't know, about 10 years, and I would remember that people would just like sign up and run races every weekend. It's like, what are you doing running marathons every weekend? It's insane. And they would
or
get
you
broken.
runner's high, the
They do
dopamine
the
and the endorphins you get from the exercise.
well, and then you get the social media ones. You're like, this is me running with recording myself. I'm like, stop it, just run, don't stop. And what are you doing?
I know a physician who does that, records himself talking about like really important things in healthcare as he's running. I mean, I really enjoy his little videos, but I'm always, what if like you're not paying attention and a car comes?
Trips or gets hit, right, or falls. Like, there's a part of me is like, I want to. I mean, I want to laugh out loud, But in my brain would be thinking, you had it coming. You totally had it coming. But it
Well, you know,
is
like the 169ers.
all every is that all the cities and our towns in
That's all,
Connecticut?
all the towns in Connecticut. So there's a whole group of people that are like the 169ers, and their goal is to
Mm,
run a town and in the state in, or in some sort of race. And I heard through the grapevine, I suppose, that a bunch of the people who, the 169ers who came to my town that morning, went and did like a race in another town later that day.
it is. It's an obsession. I mean, I love running. Well, I do love hate. As I've gotten older, it's not as easy as it used to be, which is normal. Our bodies do not do the same things they used to 20 years ago or whatever it was. But it is an addictive thing, because it is the endorphins. It is that like high, right? It is that feeling good after you're done, even though it's painful, right? Again, another form again of addiction is I'm addicted to the feel good stuff later or afterwards, right? It's always interesting what people do and where they find their time and put it into. But yeah, running's again, love, hate. I have the medals behind me. There are stories there a long time ago. But, you know, you never know. You might turn into like a serial 169er running around all of Connecticut.
Um,
There's some towns in Connecticut I think I
that would
want to
be
run.
something, that would be something to see if that
Yeah.
ever happened.
But there's some towns in Connecticut. Bridgeport. I worked there. I don't run on Bridgeport. I mean, it's not, or not to pick on Bridgeport or any of the towns. It's like this little sketch. But I guess I'm
Oh,
spoiled
I
because
feel
that's where I
that way
live.
about like that northeastern pocket of Connecticut, like Voluntown and
The
parts
quiet
north.
corner. Yeah,
I would not want to be running through those towns.
I know the woods and some of the. Yeah, it's. I guess I'm spoiled. We're spoiled near shoreline type access. I can't complain too much. Even when I don't want to run, I go outside and I run around. I'm like, yeah, what am I complaining about? This is it's the ocean for just shut up, Brian, and do it, right? But Anne, it's been wonderful having you on today, and I hope you get outside, have another Diet Coke or two or three, you know,
Or five.
or five. I'd be one of those kids or guys who, if you had like a bottle out, I'd just dump the Mentos in it and pull that prank on people. Have you ever seen that? The Mentos and Coke? Yeah, it's probably happened to you. I don't know. So
That's a waste of a perfectly good Diet Coke. We
it
can't do that.
is. You cannot do that, but that's the point. Someone would prank like, "There's your Diet Coke," just pull up in the fountain. So, but I hope you enjoy the rest of this day. It's a beautiful day, and it's been a pleasure having you on today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.